Hey, Rick Sayes here. Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, where I hope to provide entertaining conversations with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz to get their stories, tips, strategies, productivity tricks, and ideas that you can apply and take your career or business to the next level. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. I've used Audible for many years now when I'm on the road, and I'm on the road a lot. Audible helps me pass the downtime while enjoying great books I discover or are recommended by friends. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/theoutdoorbizpodcast. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. I can recommend some if you need them. Hit that link and start your 30-day free trial with Audible today. Hey guys, this episode is with Katie Boue. Katie is doing some great work on the media side of the business and tells us about a cool new project she's working on with the OIA called the Outdoor Advocate Network. Check it out. Hey guys, today I'm speaking with Katie Boue, outdoor advocate, climber, former van dweller, and avid road tripper. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me, Rick.
Yeah, good to have you on. So what was your, I think we were talking earlier about your recent adventure to Jackson. How was that?
Yeah, it was great. My boyfriend and I went out there. He goes every year to climb the Grand, and I've always been wanting to climb it, so I did. And it was awesome. A little smoky out there, but it was great.
Oh yeah, smoky. That's right. It's smoky all over the place. We're not smoky here, finally in Bishop, where we have a cloudy day but no smoke. So let's start with your first exposure to the outdoors. What was that like, and when was that? Were you a young kid, or how'd you get into the outdoors?
Yeah, my parents have always really been adventurous, not necessarily outdoors all the time, but they're just super adventurous people. So I grew up, the only cruise I've ever been on was to Alaska when I was a kid.
Nice.
My dad used to drag me to Yosemite when I was like, oh man, Dad, I want to hang out with like the neighborhood kids and ride our Razor scooters. And he was like, let's go to Yosemite instead.
Right.
So I definitely, had that backbone, but I'm from Miami, so it was a very different exposure to the outdoors. Yeah, there's so many people in the outdoor industry that I feel like have these great stories of how they grew up, with the mountains in their backyards. And,
right.
I still don't even know how to ski properly. So I'm definitely very grateful for having come into this space kind of later in life.
That's awesome. So you lived in Miami. When did you go to Yosemite?
I went to Yosemite. So I lived in California in the 6th grade. And
okay.
That's when I first went to Yosemite.
Gotcha. And was that a camping trip, or did you guys stay in the little cabins there? What was that like?
I don't remember. we may have stayed in a hotel.
Okay, yeah, there's a couple hotels there outside there. Yeah, cool. And did that hook you, or did it take a couple of other more adventurous activities to get you hooked?
It took many years for me to actually get hooked. I don't think I got hooked on the outdoors until I was in college and started climbing at this gym, Tallahassee Rock Gym, in Flat, Florida.
Got ya.
But so we went on a trip once to go climbing, and I mean that changed everything.
Gotcha. So that sealed the deal, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. So why don't you tell our listeners a little about what you're up to? You have a blog called Morning Fresh, and you've got it sounds like a cool new project going with OIA, the Outdoor Advocate Network. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah. So, I mean, my blog is really the beginning of everything. I started that in 2009.
Oh wow!
And it's definitely gone through. Yeah, it's been around for a long time. That was the catalyst to all of this.
Gotcha.
So I think it needs a little bit more love, but I'm really excited about the Outdoor Advocate Network. OIA, since I was working there, has been really interested in the idea of bringing together all these powerful, influential voices we have in the industry,
right? And
doing it in a unified way where, we can use all these resources that we have and all this information and bring everyone under the same roof so we can have a real tangible impact.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people on the podcast about that. I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of different people are doing, in fighting for public lands and all the other issues that are, facing us these days. But it seems like we haven't found that collective 1-2 punch that we really possess with all the great folks you're talking about, and I think we should do. So hopefully this will do that. Is that kind of the direction you're headed?
Absolutely. I think it's not that there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
because, we need as much food
Right.
as we can get.
Right.
But we all need to, make the same recipe if we're trying to pump out the same results.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that that's where, the Outdoor Advocate Network has this opportunity to kind of channel everything into one powerful, solidified, unified voice. Because I think that's kind of been a problem for us in many ways. It's like the outdoor retailer fiasco, and we tend to splinter a little bit sometimes. And if we could all come together, I think it'd be much more powerful.
Yeah, I'm supportive of that 100%. Yeah, there's so many different groups. There's the Outdoor Foundation, the Outdoor Industry Association, Conservation Alliance, and they're all doing great things. I mean, it's not like, everybody's doing fabulous things, but to come up with one collective story, that's awesome. So that's been going on for not even a month, right? Or maybe a month.
It really kind of launched at Outdoor Retailers when this idea coalesced, and I've been working with the team a lot on making it come together with Jen Brunson and Amanda Markert, and it's really starting to evolve into a much more powerful thing than we initially anticipated. So, I mean, it's only been, a few months, but I'm really excited about the direction that it's going.
And I saw a post on Facebook. Did you get a lot of response to that? People wanting to help out?
Yeah. We were so stoked because we had a luncheon at OR, and, we didn't put it out there too hard at first because we were still, kind of baking things over.
Right.
And then once we put up those posts on social, it started flooding. And so it's really moving to see how excited people are about the project. And so many people have said oh, finally, it's about time.
Yeah. Awesome. So is this going to be, it's going to be a group within Outdoor Industry Association? You guys are just going to get together digitally and, talk about things, or are there going to be formal meetings? Probably at an outdoor retailer, right?
Yeah. So we've done a luncheon every season at Outdoor Retailer.
Okay.
For, I think this one was the third or fourth one that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to evolve into being more focused on the Outdoor Advocate Network. It'd be great to do a party too.
Yeah, right.
Because I think that's really something to celebrate. But
yeah,
we'll also be having webinars, and we have a Facebook group that we're creating.
Yeah.
We kind of have a whole program that we're working on to get people engaged and arm them with the resources that they need and be on top of these issues when they pop up. Because as we've kind of seen with this administration, major threats to the outdoor industry will just pop up at a moment's notice, and we need to be able to just jump on them.
Exactly. Yeah, those like waves on the beach, those guys, they keep coming up with something new. It seems like every day. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what are some other recent success stories that you have to share? Anything other big like that other than, that sounds like a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. I think they're all kind of centered around advocacy and activism and getting involved and kind of this new way of supporting the outdoors and the places that you love. This spring, I went to DC for the first time with American Alpine Club and the Access Fund for an event they call Climb the Hill.
Oh, yeah,
and yeah, it was awesome. We went out there. They brought out a bunch of pro climbers. You had Tommy Caldwell there and Alex Honnold and Sasha DeJulian, and we all went out and actually hit the floor and were lobbying and speaking with representatives and senators. And I remember one, I think it was a senator in particular. He was very conservative. He didn't even meet with us. His aide met with us, barely made eye contact with us.
Wow.
It was one of those where you walked away and you felt like, okay, what could we have done better there? But we were urging him to join this new outdoor recreation caucus. And we kind of all assumed that we fell on deaf ears.
Right.
And we got an email afterwards when we followed up saying, thank you so much for meeting with us. And they were like, hey, thank you too. We joined the caucus.
Wow.
And awesome. that was such a cool moment for me because it's like real tangible impact. Like that is what I'm going for here. Like that's what this is all about in that moment.
Right.
It was achieved.
Right. That's very cool. And you thought it was a no win and you come out and you had a big win. That's fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And I mean, just think of if we were all active like that, how many little wins we could create that would end up shifting the tide.
Exactly. Did he give you any, or did they give you any insight as to what turned them the other way? No, he just kind of said they're going to join.
No, but it's really, it's a no-brainer. The outdoor industry and like outdoor recreation and supporting public lands is so bipartisan.
Yeah.
So it's, once you really break it down, it's easy to get people on board. It's something that I think everyone should be behind. Like I don't understand the opposition almost,
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, it impacts everybody, and the public lands have been. I was talking to John Sterling a couple episodes ago, and I grew up in California, been coming to Bishop my entire life, and I don't know anything but public lands. It's like, what I don't how can this be even an issue? This is awesome. These lands are great, So, but I think there's some education opportunity. A lot of people don't realize how much there are and what they are.
Totally, I think that education is the like number one most important thing that we can be working on right now.
Mm-hmm. And so what are you hoping the biggest impact to the industry will be from the Outdoor Advocate Network? Just coalescing into one voice, or,
Yeah, it's amplifying our voices.
Uh-huh.
It's amplifying our impact,
mm-hmm.
And bringing all these powerful voices together. I mean, there are so many people that reach such large audiences and diverse communities, and we have all these different sub-communities and industries that we can bring together,
right,
by putting all of the leaders in this space into one place. And I think that, we can shift the industry in a tangible way. That's what we're all looking for, right?
Right.
We really want to see huge, noticeable, you can hold it in your hand change in the industry. And I think that we can do that.
Yeah. And are you reaching out to folks in the fly fishing industry and mountain biking and other branches of outdoors?
Yeah. So one of the things that we want to eventually cover the spread of is everything from sport,
mm-hmm.
region, background. We want to make sure that even within a region that we're having representation from people who are the really hardcore mountaineers, but also the people who live in the heart of the city, mm-hmm. and are working on, local, smaller, close to home recreation,
right.
And families and all the different sports that we have. I had Lantani speak on my panel that I hosted at Outdoor Retailer on public lands, and I just found his voice and his community. I think it's so important to bring hook and bullet, outdoor rec, everyone together.
Yeah.
That's how you have a powerful impact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think we're getting closer. We're a lot closer than we were, when I got into the outdoors. I mean, it was very hardcore backpacking, mountaineering oriented. And now we're embracing a lot of other, cross cultural activities, which is great. That's exactly what we need. Makes the voice louder.
Yeah.
And who are some of your mentors? Any folks that you look to help you lead this group or come up with new ideas?
I mean, I think in a broader way, every single person in the industry plays a mentor role to me. I think we really are so young and new, and there's so much in flux, and like there's so much innovation space, and mm-hmm. I think that there's so much to learn here from everyone.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some people that I've always looked to. OIA's head of marketing, Jen Pringle.
Uh-huh.
Since the day I got hired, there was like, oh, she's incredible. You have Kenji and Luis Benitez. My friend Erin Sullivan, her handle's Erin Outdoors. She is an incredible force for social justice and really learning about, she's been great. She introduced me to Len Nessifer, who runs Natives Outdoors, mm-hmm. and he's been just teaching me so much. I mean, it's almost overwhelming because there's so much to learn.
It's more of a tribe mentor, right? You just get so many folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm interviewing Jen tomorrow, actually. That'll be fun.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And so any specific situations you can talk about how some of these people have helped or are helping you?
I think, again, everyone that I interact with in my work enriches me, but mm-hmm. Kenji has really been so great just as a supportive figure. Mm-hmm. He's introduced me to so many wonderful people. I've been able to work on great projects, like with Luis. We did a trip to Buena Vista, which I'm sure Coloradans will quickly correct me as Buena Vista.
That's right.
But as a Cuban, I can't stand for that. And we did a great trip down there, and we're able to tie that into our work. And Jen Pringle, of course, through my 2 years at OIA was just, incredibly supportive and helped me kind of look at my career in a bigger sense.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now you produce a lot of content, sounds like. I think somewhere along the lines I read that you're a professional content producer, or you bill yourself as that way. Do you have any suggestions for those of us with roles in brands or retailers or podcasts that we can implement to improve our social engagement?
Absolutely. I definitely have worn that hat before, and have also managed, B2B and B2C brand social media accounts and kind of helped on the back end of strategy. And in all those different roles, I think that there's this overarching theme, and these actions that anyone can take. And I think if you're active is the first one. You have to be part of this digital community. It really is such a strong, active community, and it's so important to be, a part of it and to add your voice.
It's amazing how many people I talk to that are of my generation or even older, and they won't do it. They just don't embrace it. It's like, man, come on, you got to get with the program.
I get it. Whenever a new platform pops up or there's an update to something that I'm used to, I'm just like, man, really? I don't want to, I don't want to deal with this.
I got to go change everything now. What'd you do?
Yeah. Now I got to go learn a new thing and change it all. So, I get that, but it find what you enjoy and get active on it.
Cool.
And I think that everyone can also start checking out their analytics. It's super easy to just jump in and just play around a little bit with your analytics.
That's
and
a
you
good
can
one.
learn so much. You can learn, when your audience is online most. So you can cater your posting to that. You can learn who your audience is, like where these people come from, what cities they're from, what the gender breakdown is, the age breakdown. And it's so informative, and I think it'll really shape the way that you produce content.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I look at that stuff a lot. Cool. Any others? Couple others?
I think just focusing on community. It's, whether you're selling a product or, like a hard good, or you're selling content, or you're selling an idea or a service, whether it's local or kind of like national, building a community is so important. And it happens so organically on social. So there's like no excuse not to.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's another good one. Awesome. Those are great. I'll start using some of those myself, trying to grow this podcast. And what opportunities do you see in the outdoor biz for young folks today, just starting out or wanting to get in? How do they break in? You have any suggestions for them?
Yeah, I think it's all about figuring out what you want to do, what moves you, how you want to contribute, the issues that you want to tackle the most, and just get started, get your foot in the door. I think that there's a really beautiful space opening up right now for young people to get involved on a local level, serving as like park rangers or firefighters, or, just working with your local economy on outdoor recreation. Of course, working for manufacturers. So many people say like, oh, I want to work for Cotopaxi, or I want to work for Petzl. Something I can say is that, take those entry-level jobs when you're first starting out. I have a lot of friends who, started out packing boxes in the warehouse at Black Diamond, and over the years now they've moved up and they're in a role that they really, they're thriving in. It's what they ultimately want in their career. And I think that's great. Yeah,
there's a lot more opportunities, I think, than there were. When I got started, we all started in retail, and retail is still an option, but there's so many other opportunities, like you say, in warehouses or even ancillary businesses to the outdoors, like the Forest Service and firefighting and all those kind of things. That's great. You can even do first aid, paramedic type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then how about for folks that are, maybe have just gotten in and they're working in customer service or a warehouse somewhere or at retail, and they want to get to the next level, or they want to grow their career? What would you suggest to those folks?
Start getting active locally. Really build a foundation for yourself in the outdoor space. get involved with your local trail organizations, or if you're a climber, join the Climbers Association. Start going to meetings, start participating in these community events, because I've really found that some of my best connections and relationships have been built in the outdoors, or in supporting the outdoors.
Yeah.
It's not always in the office. Like, I have so many more connections that I made out of the office than in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just put yourself out there.
Yeah. Go climbing at the gym. Go climbing outside. Do anything outside. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
And what other outdoor activities do you participate in? You climb. You hike.
I climb. I am pretty into trail running right now, although my knees might beg to differ.
Well, that'll go away.
I enjoy kayaking. Yeah, I hope so.
It will.
It's been a few months. I take my Oru kayak out. I don't know if road trips count as an outdoor activity, but I really do love. I love just like living out of the back of my car and skipping around to national parks. It's like what gets me going. Yeah,
exactly. Just camping out. Camping is an outdoor activity. Last time I checked.
Well, if you're sleeping in the back of your car, is it, are we still counting that?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think if you're, a lot of us go to these I love to go to these dispersed camping sites around here that aren't in campgrounds. And, I might sleep in the back of my truck, but I'm still camping. I mean, I'm, making coffee on the wood stove, the Petzl stove or whatever not Petzl. I'm going to edit that out. I'm making coffee. I'm making coffee on the MSR stove or something on the back of the truck, and it's you're still outdoors, enjoying the outdoors however you get there, I think. So that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. You are exactly describing what my camping scene usually looks like, so we'll count it.
Yeah, there you go. Right. How about books? Do you have any favorite books that you've read, or do you give books as gifts?
I love collecting guidebooks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I have a few souvenir things that I collect. Junior Ranger badges is one of them.
Oh, wow,
and then
cool.
The other one is guidebooks. I love them, and it's so important for climbing. You really need a guidebook for a new area.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm just like, $60 for this guidebook. It's my memorabilia from my trip to Joshua Tree, so obviously I can afford this.
Right.
But yeah, and
do you collect older guidebooks too, like original copies? Are you that kind of collector?
Not of guidebooks. I collect really old Alice in Wonderland books.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's all right.
But
we all have our thing, right?
Yeah, we all need our thing.
Yeah, that's cool. And so guidebooks, you just, as you go to a new climb area, you just get a new guidebook, and you don't go searching for old dog-eared copies of the first guidebook published or something of the area.
I wouldn't really know where to find those, but now that you mention that, yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, I think they're floating around. I think I've got some pretty old ones I'm not going to part with, but they're just old because I'm old. So, and what's your favorite your best outdoor gear purchase under $100, or favorite?
That is easy, and I just purchased it.
No.
As my annual purchase this weekend in Grand Teton. I love the National Parks Pass.
Oh.
It's $80.
Yep.
And I think it's the best investment you could possibly make.
That's awesome. Yep.
Like any $80 you're going to spend in one swipe should be on the National Parks Pass. It gets you into all the parks.
Right. It
gets you into many fee-required national forest areas.
Right.
You get some discounts on camping sometimes. I mean, it makes me so happy to buy it.
That's a great one. I buy one every year too. I do a lot of commuting back and forth through Yosemite, and it just, it makes so much sense. And you're right. You never know when you're going to be in an area. It's like, oh, hey, I can get in there with my Parks Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And for $80, I mean, geez, it's crazy. Yeah. That's awesome. And how about any tools that you use to stay motivated or productive or sane? You listen to any podcasts or any favorite apps, anything like that?
I am pretty bad at podcasts. I love listening to She Explores, and I have a few, colleagues who are pretty frequently in them. So whenever someone's pops up, I'll listen to that because I love to learn from people, and it's great to hear kind of that other side of folks that you're friends with,
right?
When they really start to like geek out on the things that move them.
Uh-huh.
But I live religiously by my iCal.
Okay.
My calendar is just, I mean, it's a mess.
Everybody's
But
calendar is a mess.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's giving me a little bit of an anxiety attack. But it's like my Bible.
Yeah.
I would, whenever they're not syncing between my phone and my computer, I'm, having a little panic attack. And also scheduling tools for social media. I think that that's really crucial for staying sane.
Yeah,
I was gonna manages accounts.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. So, what are your favorites, or what are your go-tos, or some that you recommend for those of us that are trying to keep all this stuff straight?
I enjoy, whenever you can, posting natively. I think is great, especially on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But posting, within Facebook.
Yep.
Just ahead of time, just like once a week, pop in there.
Yep.
Schedule a post for your page. Don't worry about it again. Just check in on it, respond to comments. And then Hootsuite is also one that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to just schedule things. You can take evergreen content and schedule it out for a year.
Yeah, I use them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then any other apps related to social media that you can recommend for folks other than scheduling? Is there any other? I mean, obviously there's the Snapseed and all the things you use for photo editing and stuff, but any other things you use?
Yeah, of course, the photo editing.
Yeah.
I use a lot of travel apps.
Okay.
Just because I'm always on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Hotels Tonight or a good weather app I think is really important for outdoor folks.
Right, yeah.
I use Yelp a lot when I'm traveling. I love Yelp.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people who writes Yelp reviews. I think it's, just your phone is such a powerful tool.
Yeah.
For not just posting cool Instagrams, but for doing things.
Right.
And becoming like a productive person. So many of us are in these weird freelance, like what actually is your job spaces.
Right.
And, so I think it's so important to use your phone and your computer to be a good business person.
Yeah, no, I agree. I use my computer, phone, and iPad constantly, all the time. Any other advice or anything you want to say or ask of our audience before we wrap up?
I would like to say that if you are listening to this, I hope that you in some way feel inspired to be a better outdoor advocate or more active, or to just get started, or to just kind of look up what maybe that means, and apply for the Outdoor Advocate Network. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool. And where can people find that? That's the Outdoor Advocate Network. There's a Facebook link I saw.
Yeah, so if you look up the Outdoor Advocate Network on Facebook, it'll take you to the Facebook group, which will take you to the more important link to the application.
Gotcha.
That's in the description, and you just pop on in there. It asks you some questions about what activities you're into, where you're from, what your role is in the outdoor industry, kind of what your big dreams are for the outdoor industry.
Right.
And then I and the team will take a look at it and
cool.
We'll make some waves together.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes, definitely. And where's the best place for people to find you? On Facebook?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the above, at Katie Boue.
Okay.
That's Katie. My last name is weird, Boue.
Cool.
And I am all over the place. Or my blog, themorningfresh.com.
Awesome. We'll put links to all that in the show notes too. So thanks for being on the show. It was great talking to you. I'm sure I'll catch you at an OR Outdoor Retailer show soon.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. It was a pleasure.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Katie Boue. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Katie Boue. That's KATIEBOUE. You'll find links to all the info we discussed in the show notes at theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/episode/037. I'd be stoked if you shared your favorite episodes on the socials. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. This episode's featured advocacy group is the California Wilderness Coalition. Cal Wild is a nonprofit whose mission is to protect and restore the wildest landscapes and watersheds on California's public lands. Since 1976, Cal Wild has helped protect over 14 million acres of wilderness and 1,500 miles of wild and scenic rivers. The organization helps bridge the gap between local stewards who know their public lands intimately and the state and federal agencies that manage those lands, forming valuable partnerships at all levels. When you become a member today at the $65 family level, they'll send you a copy of Tim Palmer's book, California Glaciers, for free. Join today at calwild.org/biz.